Not sure if us, and I'm just you'll get a notification that I'm starting the AI companion as well as the AI summary, which while we're on it, is a great meeting tools for summarizing your whole meeting and getting great to-do lists at the end, as well as during the meeting. If you want to go back and check something, the AI can tell you if you missed something. And then there's, of course, people that abuse it and don't attend the meetings and just send the bot in to their bots to come and record the meetings. But that's all fine. That's the new world we live in. My name is Quinton Jacobs. My background is I was in corporate for many years, let's just say more than 25. And I was with the Nielsen company for most of that, which is market research and data analysis. And then that's in South Africa. And then I moved across to the States, where I worked for Nielsen in Atlanta, Georgia. I came back to South Africa, joined the opposition to Nielsen with another American company called IRI. And then after that, I actually I left it. I became the CEO there for the South African business. And then after about 3 years, I decided to do my own business, got into e-commerce, sold some stuff on Amazon, as well as my own website. And then obviously had to learn the digital marketing that goes with that. And then started consulting in both of those areas as well. When I saw AI and the uptick of AI now a year and a half ago, I thought it was magic, because all of those things that I hated doing, I could now hand over to the AI to do, and then got head over heels into AI and learned all about it and started consulting in AI. Also about a year ago, I was with the African Academy of Artificial Intelligence, and we mainly consult to businesses, but we also give lectures and talks at educational institutions, and and we consult with clients for the implementation of AI into their businesses. I then met Jeff, met him online, and we shared the passion for both education and AI, and believe that AI can make a massive difference in the transformation of education. And I think that's probably where our focus, the focus of our vision is around transformation of education, and not so much about AI. Yet AI is the key component that's going to allow us to fast track this transformation and really make it happen after 100 years of all teaching the same. And I believe it's the same in the US as it is in South Africa, as well as in most countries all over the world, where teaching has been pretty much done the same way forever. Hi, Asim, welcome. Glad you joined us.
So sorry, I was at a doctor's appointment and just arrived back. Okay. Sorry about that.
I was worried because I've specially put this meeting on for you.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem. Do you quickly want to introduce yourself? Everybody has had a chance already.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you quickly want to introduce yourself? Everybody has
sure.
2 minutes.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Sure. Hi, everyone. I am Ayşem Hakioğlu. I very recently came across Quinton and Jeff, and started collaborating with them. I'm currently an adjunct faculty at Northeastern University, teaching product development, and my background is all about project management, program management, and product development.
Great.
And I live in Merrimack, Massachusetts.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. I was just about to kick off the presentation. So without any further ado, I'm going to do that. By the way, I'm very self-conscious about these stickers on my face. I went to a physiotherapist, and she reckoned that would be a good idea to stick it on my face to help with my jaw muscles. So if you see them, don't think any more weird of me than this weird guy from Africa. And I'm going to share my screen quickly. Here we go. Everybody good with that? Everybody can see that? Great. Okay. So the AI Education Consultant Collective, what are we about, and what do we plan to do? So this is sort of the vision and mission statement in one. I hope it's quite busy with a background thing with an AI generated picture. It says we champion the transformation of learning experiences by integrating artificial intelligence in education. Our mission is to empower educators worldwide with innovative AI tools and training, enhancing educational outcomes and fostering innovation. And it says join our mission to reshape the future of education. And that's where our focus is going to be. So as I said, the AI is merely the tool. So what we are planning to do is for us to be empowering the AI consultants, which is most of you guys, in order to serve the educational industry, the institutions, and teach AI to the teachers and the lecturers and the professors, and maybe even the administrative staff, whoever needs to hear about the message of AI and help them to improve their jobs and their lives. And the way we do that is we see through consulting that you guys will be doing, and we'll be helping you with that. You're going to be doing live training. We'll provide tools that is going to go from the AI ECC to you, as the consultants, up to the teachers and lecturers, and we'll supply with material and resources. So a lot of it, the stuff that I'm going to be showing you today is basically that training material, because everybody was sort of, it's hard to visualize what are we talking about when we talk about training material and the AI tools and all that sort of stuff. So basically, this is sort of a quick list that I made. Sorry, what your clients can expect to get from you once you start working with clients. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's basically integrate tools that help automatic grading, provide real-time feedback, manage classroom activities, all that sort of stuff, and give them more time to focus on what they love, which is teaching. And we're going to be also providing with a guide to the transformation of their teaching, boost student outcomes, because actually I should put on at the top of that upside down pyramid, I should put students, because they're the ultimate clients that's going to benefit from this whole process, because we want to be student focused as opposed to teacher focused, and use AI to offer more engaging, diverse, and adaptive learning experiences that can improve student performance. So we'll work together in terms of what the how, in terms of what are the specific things, whether we provide specific tailored programs and the tools and the personalized learning and all of that stuff, which is kind of where we're starting today. I'm going to be showing you a lot of examples of presentations or slides or tools, AI tools for teachers, and general popular AI tools and all that sort of stuff. But you need to take all of this stuff and mold it into something that is custom made for the specific clients or the market that you are planning to address. So the goal for today is maybe I'm going to be, everything I say is not just directed at you, but it's maybe something that you need to be taking this message forward to the teachers and the lecturers. So our role is to demystify AI and make AI accessible and impactful, the A and the I of accessible and impactful, and then talk about the practical application of AI, which is really my focus. I'm a very practical sort of person. I like to show actually what you mean by an AI tool. What do you mean by prompt engineering, instead of talking sort of in big concepts and and that type of thing. Well, I'd like to show and talk about it. And then we're going to explore the capabilities of AI in order to discover use cases. I think this is sort of, to me, sort of the whole key to this whole thing, because when you tell people about AI, or a lot of people have heard about AI, and like we said, they either scared of it or just don't know where to start, is to start talking about or showing the capabilities of what AI can do. That will prompt them to think about the use cases in their particular jobs or the roles that they play. So that's kind of the key to me. And then, for instance, for AI to just take care of mundane tasks, so you can focus on transforming your teaching. So the agenda is basically going to cover AI tools as teachers' assistants. So teaching AI tools, the popular AI tools, which is the big ones like ChatGPT, and Claude and Gemini and those large language models, but we'll also look at some specific ones that are popular in terms of writing, in terms of design, whether that be images or video, or just design as in a Canva design or something like that, productivity and research. And then we'll focus specifically on ChatGPT, but a lot of what we'll talk about there applies to like the other large language models like Claude and Gemini and Copilot and all of the others above. So, and then we'll do how to talk to the bots, which is prompt engineering and how to teach that. And then AI tools for students. So I'll touch on that, whereas because we're talking about AI being basically allow us to put the student in charge of their own learning, and then put the teacher sort of more in a role of a guide, and in terms of helping the students get to a place where they're teaching themselves and in their own way and in their own pace and all that sort of stuff. And then, of course, there's a lot of important considerations with AI, because this is a new thing for a lot of us, and the exposure to AI for a lot of teachers, who's never worked with these kind of tools. The policies are going to be quite important to have policies in place. And then the most common subject that comes up in the education world is plagiarism, and how to deal with that. So I think, when I talk about policies, we're obviously talking in the education world, but even in the broader AI world, I don't think there is, possibly it's not sufficient policies at the moment to take care of the fears and the bias and all of those issues that's come with AI, and even the large language model people like, sorry, I'm just checking, yeah, like AI, OpenAI and Google and those sort of companies possibly haven't really thought through the safeguards in terms of where AI can go in the future, especially when we get to artificial general intelligence, which is when the bots can start making automated decisions on their own. But we're not going to go into that whole thing. We'll just look at specifically for education why it's important to have those things in place. I have developed this sort of implementation process, which is basically I've developed this around an implementation for a business, but I think it's any institution or organization can have these buckets, and we can maybe talk about maybe how it's slightly different for the education world. But the first step is basically for an organization to decide who's going to champion it, who's going to drive it. And it really always makes sense to have somebody right at the top of the organization to champion the implementation process in that organization. But then there should also be people lower down the totem who's actually going to be impacted by the AI and is actually going to work with the AI, and they can work together and form an AI implementation team. It's always a good idea to do a SWOT analysis before you start anything, and it's no different with AI. It's to look around an organization, or even if you're just doing this for yourself as a teacher. Again, I'm speaking on behalf of as a consultant to the teachers, is what are your strengths and weaknesses? What do you know about the technical world? Are you inclined to learn stuff quickly on technical stuff? Do you like to play with digital tools and that type of thing? Or are you inherently shy away from those type of things? And then the opportunities. What is AI actually going to give me? And in terms of the the benefits that I'm going to get from it, and then the threats. What could AI mean if I don't do it? And what's the worst case scenario if I do start handing over some of my key functions and roles to the AI? And then I put this quite early on in the process, is the tools exploration or the experimentation, because I believe, again, people don't know what AI is capable of. So before we can start talking about goals and where to go and how to implement and all that sort of stuff, it's really a good idea to always first just play with the tools and just show a bunch of stuff and examples of what AI is capable of doing. So and then the capability leads to use cases, and we can then start thinking about needs assessment, goal setting, and then the evaluation of the tools, and then selection of tools, and then the implementation. So I'm skipping over all of these, but each one of these bubbles could really be a whole topic point or a workshop with a client or an educational institution or a school that you could work through one by one. So definitely say tools and exploration and experimentation, or the AI capabilities practice could be a whole day-long workshop that you do with them, and then holding their hands in terms of goal setting, evaluation, and selections of tools, and then obviously with implementation, and then training. Training could be, depending on how many tools they decide that they want to start with. If they just want to do ChatGPT, you could spend a day teaching them ChatGPT, or if they want to do Canva or Gamma or any one of these tools, or a video creation tool, or specifically teachers tools like Magic School or something like that, you could literally workshop a whole day with that client. And then, of course, performance management. If the whatever KPIs, key performance indices that the client choose that they want to impact with their AI, to check whether that's actually happening, or are we just implementing AI for the sake of it? And then maximizing ROI from the AI. And then again, could be a whole new sort of process on its own, is the automation part. And this is where you allow AI to kind of do a lot of steps, or you put a lot of these steps together, or you connect a lot of these tools so that the jobs can be done concurrently. And then develop an AI-enabled culture within an organization where it's constant learning, because as we all know, the tools in AI has come out thick and fast over the last year, and it's not a one-time process to learn these tools. So again, the tools exploration and experimentation, what we're going to be talking about most of today, is really going to be an ongoing process. And this is where your role as a consultant is going to be massively important, because a lot of these people are not going to want to or have the time to be playing with a lot of these tools. So it's up to you to sort of keep up to date, and then bring and sort of filter through these tools and bring those tools that are the most impactful to the clients, are going to make the biggest change in terms of their business to them. So yeah, that's sort of the implementation process. I'm sort of hurrying along because I want to get to the fun stuff and looking at specific tools. So yes, something that always is necessary is to start off with a sort of an introduction to AI, and what does AI mean, and what is machine learning, and what is deep learning, and what's generative AI. So I've put together these simple little definitions where artificial intelligence is the ability of a machine to think and act like humans. Machine learning is an algorithm that learns in patterns, and it makes predictions based on data, and is without human programming. And then deep learning mimics the human brain. So now we get it in a place where the AI is starting to think a little bit for itself, and can even use unstructured data like image, speech, and video. And then ultimately we get to generative AI, where the biggest advancements has been made in the last year or so. And that's where the AI can generate human-like content, so it's text, speech, video, so it can understand it, but it can also generate it. And that's where a lot of these tools sit that we see: ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Claude, Meta, and Perplexity I've thrown in there for good measure. Any questions before I carry on? No? Everybody good? Great. Okay, so let's start looking at some of these tools, and I'm going to be starting with the teacher's assistants, because I think that's the most relevant. And you know, we might not have time to get through every single tool that I've got in the presentation, but these are the most important ones, and I'm assuming that you guys have had some exposure with some of the general tools. But you know, not so long ago, certainly in my school days, we had one of these. I don't know how many of you remember the overhead projectors, and they're saying the kids of nowadays wouldn't know what the hell is going on if you bring this into the classroom, but we've certainly come a long way with that. So let's have a look at this tool, which is called Magic School. If you go to the main page, you'll see that they got tons of specific tools like IEP generator, student work feedback, professional email, family song generator, teachers jokes, even text translators. So what a lot of these websites have done, or these that maybe has been around for a while, they've just incorporated a lot of AI capabilities into the tools, and you could literally, as a teacher, sign up here and can have a lot of these functions or jobs that you do on a regular basis. It can do this for you. So if I just scroll through here, there really is tons of different things. But if you look at one specific ones, let's say a multiple choice assessment there, if you click on this, it gives you you can use it gives you a panel that you can use to just put in the input in terms of the grade level, the number of questions, and the topic that you want to cover, and then you can click next, and you'll basically get the prompt button to say generate this, and that's how quickly it would be to generate a multiple choice assessment with the help of the AI. And then you can basically just save this output and bring it into the classroom. Another thing that you could do is the Magic School has introduced a bot, which is in a lot of tools these days. So you can talk to Rihanna or Rihanna in this, and you can ask her to help you with certain things like summarizing or translating or whatever it is that you would like to do. Or even if it's just in terms of helping you with the tool, with Magic School as a tool, you know, this bot is quite useful to do that. So you can prompt Rihanna down here and say, for instance, you know, how do I use Magic School? And in this case, what are some lessons in the importance of physical activity? And it gives you sort of a whole answer there. So it uses AI similar to a ChatGPT, but it's all customized and specialized around the education industry. So you can see lesson plans and rubric generator, all of that sort of stuff is here. So by the way, just as speaking to you as consultants, this is merely a screen recording that I've done in terms of demonstrating the capabilities of this tool. I normally do it this way because I've had some bad experiences where you try to do a live demonstration and the AI just don't do it the way you were supposed to, or the way you rehearsed it before, you know, and you asked the AI to create me a rubric in it, and the AI says, I'm not able to do that. I'm only a large language model. And they go, oh my goodness. And you have to tell your audience, I promise you it could do that before. I don't know why. So that's why I like to do the screen recordings. It allows me to also go through things a little bit quicker. So what I do is I basically just create the videos with a screen recorder and copy and paste them. However, these videos, that everything I show you today will make available to you guys. So you could literally take the PowerPoint and just make sure that you understand the process that is being followed in the video, and you can present it as such. So that's Magic School. I'm going to just jump to the next one. Here's also a great tool. So yeah, in this case, I didn't do the screen recording. What I do is I do a screen grab, and I just create a link to the actual website, because I think some of the demonstrations that they show on this website, it's called School Online, and it literally says it's AI for teachers, and it basically provides a whole bunch of different tools that allows you to do, for instance, handwriting recognition. So you could literally, you know, even if kids give you written assignments as in handwriting, it has an OCR functionality built in that it can actually recognize the handwriting, and so you can upload that into the tool, and then just say next, and instead of typing their answers, students can just upload a photo of their essay, and they can choose the file and upload it. So literally handwriting assignments that you can then go through and let the AI read it one at a time. And then says it's successfully translated it into text, and now it's available for you to use. And so the first page has been translated, retaining a paragraph and sentence structure. Students can now upload the next page, and when ready, they can hit submit. And once it's been submitted, it can get scored and evaluated pretty easily. You can say, let's review her essay and AI feedback, and there the AI is given what you did well. You used powerful adjectives like overgrown, rusty, swishy, dusty. Your detailed description of the setting and atmosphere created a vivid and engaging image. Even better if you could introduce some characters into your story and useful power adjectives to describe them. So you can then go ahead and actually send that response to the student. And you could still see the handwriting, and go look up close. And of course, handwritten essays now get the same powerful AI generated feedback that you could do before. Yeah, and yes, I mean, if you take this one step further, you could actually get the students to generate an image related to the essay that they've submitted. It gives it, and I think it adds a new sort of what's the word, dimension to their learning, because now they can actually create these visualizing images. So the students are using image generators within this tool to be creative over and above the writing that they've done. So really powerful sort of tools. And again, I'm not necessarily promoting anyone's specific tool, even though, this is pretty nifty. It's what I'd like to get across is more the idea and the concepts and the use cases that are out there that can be used. So maybe you choose the school online, or you just like certain aspects of it, and you go look for that in another tool because there's maybe something that you don't like in this, and maybe it's too expensive and you go look for a cheaper one or a free one, as a lot of people always ask me, as they say, is there a free version of that? Well, most tools out there have got free versions, but they usually, the functionality is limited. So yeah, that's something. So School Online is a great one. And that's the, I just put another slide in just to take me straight there. So there's more examples like that. So this is one, for instance, called Study Fetch. So basically, a lot of teachers have already been working within PDFs or PowerPoints, or they've created videos or things like that. And what Study Fetch allows you to do is actually import your materials that you've already created into the tool, and then allow the AI to create more things that for you that you can do. So in this case, flashcards, or it can create multiple choice or short questions. So it literally takes you to drag in and drop your material that you created. So again, the teacher, so a lot of these AI tools will do the creation for you, or you could just add your own stuff into it. So by the way, again, speaking to you as consultants, another benefit of creating or using little videos like this is a lot of websites, or even if websites don't have the demonstration videos, it's easy to go onto YouTube and find somebody that's done a good sort of demo video that you could use. You can maybe just switch off the sound and then just talk over it yourself. Here's an interesting, on that Study Fetch, by the way, a use case that the students have found, where they literally sit in a lecture and they, in Study Fetch, they record the lecturer speaking, and it takes notes within Study Fetch. And then the student can go home and use that recording that is now transcribed to create summaries or whatever it is they want to learn. So this is where it gets into a gray area where not always sure that lecturers are going to be okay with students sitting there recording, and probably should ask for permission for that. Any comments and questions before I carry on? Jack, I see you shaking your head. As a principal, I'm sure this is horrifying.
No, actually, not really. I think if you approach it the right way, I'm just with that Study Fetch, it's the first time I'm seeing that one, and I'm thinking there's a lot of scenarios where my teachers are tasked with, hey, you have to create notes because you have a student with certain disabilities who can't take notes in the class. And that teacher is like, oh, now I have to recreate my entire lessons into notes and then give it to the student.
Yeah.
And I could see myself saying, hey, teacher, don't do that. Set up Study Fetch, have it create your notes for you, send it to your students. You just save yourself that time and effort. So there's ways to work around it if you think through the process of how it could best be sold to them.
Love it. And what I love about what Jack just said is that's exactly the point of doing something like this, is just showing capabilities. And Jack has already identified a use case that he can immediately use. And that's what we want when we are showing this to our students and teaching AI, is we want the aha moments to come as we go through these things. And please put up a digital hand or a physical hand when you have some idea as we go through these tools. Okay, good. So the other example, obviously we've heard a lot about chatbots, but yes, something that is caught my attention, and I think it's really exciting. I wish I had this at school, is you could literally have conversations with anyone from the past. So you could, on your phone, get this app, and you can go and choose through the different categories of the that is available to you, and you get into a tool like this, and you can go through, as I said, all the categories and choose that person from history that you want to have a conversation with, and then you could, or the student can do that. You make this available to the students, and instead of reading thick documents or books about that person, they can now and go chat to that person and ask them, even if it's the stupidest or the funniest or the weirdest questions that they have. You can copy a link of, let's say you chose Sigmund Freud and you want your class to have conversation. It'll come up like this, and the students can now go and have a conversation with Sigmund Freud and ask him, how on earth did you come up with this crazy ideas that you had? And it'll give them a great response because it's been pre-trained beforehand. Now, if there is somebody that is not in this database, you can go and create your own. So you can literally, again, go and upload files, text, URLs, whatever it is, and create your own person in history that they can have a conversation with. So somebody had said maybe the teachers should create a bot for themselves, and so that the students can go and have a conversation with themselves at a later stage. But this is a great example, I think, of something that is innovative, that is, and using AI, that's going to allow the kids to start learning in a different way. See, so this is the description of what this tool is going to be doing. It's Alexander Hamilton talking to students and helping to learn about the history and how he and his role in the history in the United States. So a great, a really exciting tool. Let me just sort of jump forward a little bit. Again, you can give assignments in here, and you can get people to go through not just one person, but actually go talk to a couple of people. And what might be interesting is asking the students to talk to people on both sides of the war or in politics or that sort of thing. Yes, Joe.
Yeah, I was wondering, have you tried that with creating another person or either historical figure that, because it just seems like the amount of data that you would have to upload to be good.
Yeah.
You're training it. I'm sorry, I'm diving into this. I'm just looking at this going, how good could that be? Like if I have one document and I'm using that to represent this person, and so how valid or how good does it work?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think you can upload multiple documents, but again, I know the large language models are enlarging their parameters all the time. And Gemini is basically talking about 1 million tokens, meaning literally the War and Peace, the whole novel, you can upload into that. So it's a good question then whether this tool, how big is the capacity of the large language model to learn and how much information it has in it. I think it also is going to differ in terms of the level of teaching that you're doing. Yeah. So if it's grade school, maybe you don't need that much information, but as you go up the higher grades, it's a good point that you're going to need some significant information and be able to upload that. So I haven't uploaded. I've uploaded 1 or 2 documents and it was fine. I didn't sort of try to test the limits of the system.
Yeah, that's where I'm not, it just seems like unless it's connected, unless you can also link it to other sources, like using like ChatGPT has with the plugins that it can connect to other sources of data. But anyway, I'm getting into it.
No, good. Sorry. We're going to be talking about the GPTs in ChatGPT, which is basically you creating your own bot, your own assistant within ChatGPT. And that obviously sits on top of the already trained large language model, and you can add a bunch of documents in there. So it then has the combination of your documents, your knowledge, plus that document. So you can always do that. And again, it's just learning the concept of understanding what is possible. And over time, these things are just going to get better and better. And maybe somebody else comes up with a better tool in future. So again, I use the recording over here, but I'm going to just kind of move on to the next one. So here's another example of somebody, AI chatbot to tutor, assess, and grade your students in 50 languages. So it's pretty much the same concept, except it's not just history. Mizzou actually allows you to do this with any topic that is out there. And yeah, you can see my internet is slowing down, and this is one of the things if you want to do free, live demos, is just be careful of that of that when you're doing it. But they've got a nice little video just showing you how this works, and I'm not sure if the sound is going to come.
Struggling to engage your students, having difficulty in assessing them, facing challenges in grading students who use AI.
Sorry, can you guys hear the sound properly? Is it good? Okay, but there is a subtext that you can read.
Allow me to introduce Mizzou, the first AI-powered chatbot designed to conduct engaging assessments, activities, and grading while ensuring student privacy. It's easy to create without coding, taking under 10 minutes. These bots are tailored to your curriculum and use various formats like text, images, videos, and audio. See how it works with the Lost Brain Files, Einstein's Equation Hunt chatbot, a role play where students ask questions to help Einstein find his formulas. For data protection and privacy, students are not required to log in. They can simply enter their name and access the assessment by clicking Start Session. On the right, there are teachers' notes and instructions, plus a timer for the role play duration. Students interact with Einstein using a chat that supports text, images, audio, and video. Once the student completes the assessment, they can leave the room and also have the option to provide self-assessment or feedback to the teacher. Returning to the teacher interface, the bot that's been crafted actually grades all the students. This is a game changer for teachers. No more spending hours grading each student manually, no more AI detector tools to worry about because students use ChatGPT. Let's look at Jessica Williams as an example. She received an A. The AI grades the student, providing all the essential information the teacher might need. They can also see student feedback about the assessment as well as a complete chat history, which the teacher can read. Mizzou is more than just a tool for teachers. It's a community of thousands of educators embracing AI. Don't be left behind. Start a new chapter in your teaching journey.
See, it's a similar concept, but pretty exciting. Especially the grading and stuff is done properly. Obviously, that has to be tested, and you have to sort of sense check it yourself. I actually helped somebody create a GPT that does something similar in terms of just uploading a rubric and then feeding it with a student's assignment or an essay. And then, but what we did is I had the professor scoring the paper first and writing notes and everything, and then gave it to the AI. And we did it with a couple of papers, and it on the ChatGPT example, it actually came out very close to the marks given to the students. So it depends on, again, how well you train the bot, and for instance, your rubric, how easy it is to use that, how clear the rubric is, and well developed your rubric is. Good. Any other questions, comments? Good stuff. All right. So EduGPT is another one that just gives you a whole bunch of bots, and I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, in this case, it allows you to upfront select the level that you want it at, and then it gives you all of these different bots: English, history, maths, all of these different teachers that you can then go and speak to and have a conversation with. So I'm just going to move on just for time's sake. Again, this is a tool that I'm not sure how well built it is and how reliable it is, but I like the idea in terms of how it sort of goes towards the transformation process, or looking for different ways to teach. And in this case, the bot is actually asking the student, about their assessment and how well and what they think of a topic. So this child has read Great Gatsby, and
yeah, my process of exploring these themes was just through reading the book as well as watching the movie. I really enjoyed drawing connections between the book and the movie, just because there were two different interpretations of this incredible story. And I think that, any surprising insights while writing this essay, I think that the insights came from actually drawing parallels with the movie and almost letting me understand certain themes a little bit deeper by having that extra perspective.
So you can see that the bot is now asking, based on what he said, the bot is prompting him and asking him more questions. It says, great that you used the movie to deepen your understanding of the books. Now you describe Gatsby's pursuit of wealth as a mean to win back Daisy. Can you explain how this idea, chasing unattainable dreams? And the child has the opportunity to answer.
I think that this idea of chasing unattainable dreams, in my essay, I kind of touch on the fact that there are people categorized under new money and then people categorized under old money. And despite, the numbers being somewhat similar sometimes, there's this fundamental difference in terms of deep characteristics where new money can never, ever, ever reach the status of old money. And no matter how hard Gatsby tries, symbolized by the green light, this symbol of hope, he can never, ever reach that status. I think it's
very interesting, I think, in terms of just a different approach to teaching, where you're letting the kids actually, the bot is playing a different role. Instead of providing information, the bot is asking the questions. So the bot becomes the guide, and the kids or the student learns in their own time. So plenty more tools where that came from. So Conker, for instance, can create tools. There's something called Brisk Teaching, which again has a whole list of different tools, similar to what a Magic School does. There's one called Rocket AI. So again, they all have maybe little different ones, but at the end of the day, they do different things. And I've sort of thrown a couple of these together. I got plenty more where that came from. I just want to show you, for instance, if you look at my bookmarks over here, I've got tools, a whole bunch of tools and things that I've bookmarked to go through, and I've highlighted a lot of these today. So these are maybe just the top ones that I thought everybody is going to be using. Or there's broader education websites or ones that have got more than one tool, just on YouTube, plagiarism detectors, all of those sort of things. So I've been collecting these for a while. So those are educational tools. And then I've created a whole bunch of folders just for regular AI stuff. So this is what I've been doing in terms of, when I talked about in the beginning, exploring tools and playing with tools and experimentation with tools. That's basically what I've been doing in the last year, just playing with all these tools. I'm thinking of making all of these shortcuts available, but I probably have to clean them up and organize them a little bit better. Although they're pretty good in terms of just throwing sort of the different folders that I've created. But just so, I'm just giving you that as an example of all the different things, all the different tools that are out there, and that you as a consultant can go play with and decide which are the ones that are most relevant. And when you start consulting with the teachers, the feedback that they give you, that you can respond to them and give them stuff customized specifically to them. Sorry, I'm just losing my mouse over here. Doesn't want to go back to my mouse doesn't want to go back to my main screen. Oh, there it is. Thank you. good. Any other questions before I go to? So those are teacher-specific tools, and then these are sort of all the ones that oops, you can see all my different slides. These popular tools are the ones that sort of generic and that most people are using these days. So for instance, ChatGPT, you know, if you go into ChatGPT, I've just sort of screenshot and the whole list of all the GPTs that you can find in the GPT store. Is everybody familiar with GPTs? If you're not, just quickly give me a wave, then I can explain what a GPT is. Everybody good with GPTs? Okay, great.
Well,
So
yeah, Quentin, actually, I do. I know about GPT, ChatGPT, but the only thing I know is that 3.5 and 4.0. And when you show all that list, what does that mean? Is that like a framework and all the different tools within it?
yeah, actually, let me go across into a live demo again and take the risk to show you what ChatGPT looks like. So before GPT 4.0, which just came out in a couple of weeks ago, it was only available to paid subscribers of ChatGPT, the GPTs, and they basically were built by the community, GPT users, and they either use it for themselves or they made it available to everybody by publishing them. So if you look at, so this is exactly what I was saying. So there's I'm just going to refresh this page because it gives you a list on the side here. It usually does a list. Oh, there we go. Explore GPTs. If I click on Explore GPTs, this is the list that I showed you over there, where it's basically just classified into trending by GPT, writing, productivity, research and analysis, education. So you can go through all of these different tools and use them for yourself. So, so for instance, Consensus, if you go into Consensus, you could see there's 5 million conversations. That's a lot. So a lot of people are using Consensus and it's got a very high rating. So it's asked the research chat directly with the world's scientific literature, search references. This is a great tool. They've also got a great website where they actually allow you to use real references or scientific literature as opposed to the internet and academic papers to do your research on. So you can then start a chat with Consensus and literally ask this specifically bot that has been trained on specific knowledge, you ask it in any question. But then if you want to create your own, you could literally just hit this button up here, which says create. And then what that would allow you, you've got two buttons up here. The one will tell you, okay, I will help you. So literally ChatGPT says, I will help you to build your own bot. What would you like to make? And you can describe it and it'll come back and tell you something. I'm not going to do that whole demonstration now. Or you can just go and specifically put in a name, a description, and instructions. What do you want it to do? And this is what we were talking about, the knowledge base. So you can literally come here and upload files and you know, go grab some files from your hard drive, whether that be PDFs or Word documents or all of those sort of things, and then give it some capabilities, which is code interpreter or web browsing or whatever it is. And then finally, it says create an action. And this is where you can connect it to, say, a website or a Zapier or something to actually go and do something as opposed to just giving information back. So that's what ChatGPTs or GPTs are about. They're super helpful, especially I created a lot just for myself. In a way, they're almost like a prompt library that you want to use, you know, because, so that you don't want to have to rewrite the whole prompt over and over again or retell the chatbot everything that it needs to know to give you the answer. So this is everything I showed you. Again, these are just sort of helpful if you don't have live internet connection. That's the page that was on ChatGPT. There's your instructions, there's your knowledge. And then a great thing also to add is you got conversation starters. So if somebody doesn't know what to ask your bot, you can actually go and create that. So for instance, if you created a teacher's assistant, you can give it all these functionalities, and you can just create these conversation starters, which is basically buttons, which the teacher can then go click on, and to start a conversation pretty quickly. So that's all the sort of the things about. But there's tons of. So for instance, this is the one that I created with a rubric that evaluates papers, and that I added in uploaded the rubric, and I uploaded a whole bunch of instructions in terms of how to do it. So I'm just thinking in terms of just saving time. I'm not going to go into that, but again, we sort of just whetting your appetite today. We could maybe sort of look at each one of these individually, these buckets, and do more workshops. There's an AI tutor blueprint and all that sort of stuff. Here's another topic that we can discuss is prompt engineering. So for instance, for a teacher, all of these could be prompts, or these could be use cases that a teacher potentially want to do with AI, right? So you could, from each one of these, you can either put them into a prompt library, which you share across different people, or you can just create GPTs, or if you want to go further and you want to get a developer to actually build a tool that can do one or two or all of these things, you can do that. So those are the examples of prompts. So you can have, say, in your prompt library, prompts for teachers, curriculums, developer, professor, tutor, whatever it is. And then when I talk about prompt engineering, I teach this acronym, basically the SCRIBE, which is specify a role, give a context, responsibility, instructions, banter, and evaluate. And then I teach a whole lesson on each one on those. So specify a role. What that means is adopt a persona. You're an expert copywriter or act as an experienced business consultant. You can be, or tell it to you as someone with a high IQ, or you have 30 years of experience. All of those sort of things to give the AI a role. And then the C for context or clarity, share relevant knowledge, provide examples. So this is my teaching basically on the prompt engineering. So I'll show you. It's basically just go through all 5 of those, and then come out, with a prompt at the end. Again, if there's a need to develop a more in-depth prompt teaching, one could take some of these concepts and just expand on them a lot more. However, I know a few months ago or a year ago, everyone would say, "Oh, you've got to become a prompt engineer. That's going to be the job of the future." The bots are getting smarter and smarter, and they kind of get what you're asking pretty quickly nowadays. So the prompts don't have to be that involved, as long as you just sort of give decent instructions, or you know how to communicate with somebody. A lot of teachers know how to communicate with people and give instructions and take feedback and sort of revise and give it back again and that type of thing. So I'm assuming teachers know how to give humans instructions, so they should be able to know how to give the large language models instructions as well. So ChatGPT is developing fast and furious. It's got something called vision nowadays, so you can literally see the documents that you're uploading, complex documents like pictures like this one. It can figure out what it's saying. Even concepts like this picture that is not factual based. It's sort of understanding what the abstract concept that is there, what each block or picture represent, and you can go through and read what it says here. It's pretty clever, because this is in the first panel. Each individual has a different shape in mind, but they seem to think they're on the same page, as indicated by the text. I'm glad we all agree. And you can see that the ChatGPT's vision has actually picked this up. So here's something that that comes from the military, a very complex document that that somebody had uploaded onto ChatGPT, and it, with its vision, it actually managed to break it down so it can do really complex analysis for you. It's a fantastic capability that, and again, this functionality has almost replaced tons of other tools that people have created out there, you know, specifically to do this function. ChatGPT adds it in as a functionality, and all of those other tools almost becomes redundant. I went into a shop myself to try it out, took a picture of the shelf and asked it, please list all the SKUs or the items on the shelf and give me their prices. And it did that pretty easily. And then it gave me a lot more information about it, which I'm not going to go through right now, but just trying to think of the functionality and the things that it can do, it's pretty amazing. And these are all the sort of key use cases that you could do with just that one functionality, which is vision. And then recently, ChatGPT has now added memory, which is very useful in terms of remembering you and the things about you, or let's say about your organization, that you don't have to keep giving ChatGPT the context of why you're asking certain questions. So it says it now has memory across chat, keep the conversation going. ChatGPT will carry out what it learns between chats, allowing you to provide more relevant responses. It becomes more helpful over time as it learns more about you. And you can manage what it remembers. So you can literally go in and delete stuff out if you don't, want ChatGPT to know that. And the cool thing about that then as well, if you just type in an @ once you're back into conversations, you can literally call up any GPT that you've created in the past, plus the memory that you've got. And there's, again, we were talking about training the bot and giving it all of this background information, and all that stuff then becomes available. So the new ChatGPT, GPT-4o that came out the other day, has got a bunch of new functionality and things. And you can see why I'm saying this is stuff that you could literally spend a day or more in workshopping with the students and with the teachers in terms of helping them figure out the specific use cases and how to implement some of these things. This was the GPT-4o launch. And I don't know if any one of you have seen some of those conversations that they had with GPT-4o, where they're literally having a human conversation, and the response time is almost immediate, and you can interrupt it. You can ask it to respond in a different tone, excited or sad or happy or even sing. And this is all stuff that is now built into ChatGPT, which, again, if we could start thinking about it in terms of education, how teachers can use that functionality. If somebody, let's say, for instance, we're saying, oh, the basis of education is writing. And if you can't write, you can't learn, and therefore you will never be able to succeed. Now, certain kids struggled with writing, or even here on the continent of Africa, where I am, sometimes kids go right through school and never learn to write. So if you are able to talk to a bot and then still learn stuff from the bot, even in your own language, this is going to be a game changer for many, many people. And it's going to be a different way of learning in the future. Right. So, so before I carry on, are there any more comments or questions? Joe, you're chomping at the bit there. I can see it.
No.
Good. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Subi, you've been quiet.
I'm so shocked to see all the tools and technologies, and I'm so excited to use all of them. Yeah.
I'm good. I mean, hopefully there's a few aha moments for you. And and if you could see, if you're getting excited about this stuff, imagine how much fun it would be as a consultant. You bring this to a school, to a teacher, and start saving them a huge amount of time, or just improving the level of teaching that they're doing, or revolutionizing or transforming what the ultimate goal is here. So it could be quite a rewarding job.
Definitely.
Yeah, I will jump in now and say the one thing that I've found is that it's hard enough just keeping up with ChatGPT, and stuff is coming out so fast, but yet you have the other ones, Gemini and Claude and the others. It is tough keeping up with all this stuff, because once you feel you got a handle on it, then all of a sudden they add so much more functionality, and just this 4.0 was unbelievable.
And I mean, literally a week after 4.0 came out, Google announced at its I/O conference a whole bunch of the new things, which I didn't even go into today, that new functionality, even though they said it's coming, a lot of that stuff, it's not here yet. But yeah, it is crazy. But Joe, that's why I believe as consultants to the education, we always have a role, because this is ongoing. This is not a one big workshop and away you go and you're good for years. It literally can be a monthly update sort of contract that you have with the schools, and keeping them updated. Jeff, welcome. You're on mute.
Yeah, that's where we're leveraging Quentin's incredible collection and detailed understanding of all of these things, because you can just imagine teachers are, I mean, this is why teachers are confused. There's so much stuff out there, and just to tell them, we're going to bring you limited amount of things that you could do with specific things of what you could do, what you need, that fills your needs, and you don't have to be searching every day to figure out what it is. We're going to give you the tools, and we don't have to build them. We're not building them, we're not creating them. We're just finding the right things for the right person and matching them up for the right school, for the right situation. And it's a service they're going to love to have, I really think, when they understand that. And that's where the problems are: the communication of what the service is, how it works, how it's going to help you. And I think the ones who understand it will be like, thank you, we need you right away.
Yeah, and that's where I see us as a group. We collaborate, and why it's called a collective, because you might find a tool that I haven't even seen, which is fantastic, and share it with the group, and everybody can then take that to their clients and look smart in front of their clients. So we're all going to be sort of searching and filtering all of these tools, so that we can bring just the best tools and the right tools, the most relevant tools to clients. So the big topic is plagiarism, and there's tools out there for plagiarism detection. But as I've seen, so many people have said, so many teachers have complained that these things are not really that accurate, and you can't bet your life on it, or bet your house on it, or bet your career on some of these, the results that you're getting. So for instance, a popular tool is called Turnitin. This has been around a long time, and this has been a plagiarism as such tool. And they've got some other functions as well, but they also now do AI detection, or AI detection. And again, it's a tool to use, and I think it needs to be used in conjunction with just some sort of sense checking and that type of thing. And then there's one called Undetectable. I see that this is by number one best AI detector rated by Forbes. So we'll take their word for it and say that is a good one. But yes, for instance, an example, I literally took this AI detector. I asked ChatGPT to write me a paragraph, and I dropped it in here, and it gave me a 99% human-generated content. Good, I'm good to go. Thank you very much. I used the same paragraph into this other tool called AI GPT Detector, and it gave me 100% AI GPT. So I'd say the tools these detectors are not that good. but then there's also sort of all of these tools to help humanize text. So it's a constant battle between these, but there's got to be more to it, and there's got to be policies and procedures that teachers have got to take into consideration and start developing these things, which, again, I have a whole presentation on that in terms of developing policies, in terms of, plagiarism and that type of thing. We're just using AI, not necessarily plagiarism. This one I thought was quite funny. This one, it will actually look over your shoulder. So while the student is busy doing their AI, doing their assignment, you could literally use this Chrome plugin where this thing will record what the student is doing and how the student is working with it. It's called Draftback, and you can see that whole green blob that sort of suddenly came up there means all of that was written in one big drop. So this was literally was a copy and paste. If it was written one word at a time, the way normal people type, or even what is it when you talk and it transcribes, it will sort of go from left to right and it will write it like that. But as soon as you see this, you know that this text or paragraph was copied and pasted from somewhere else. So it's just another tool. I'm not going to show you the whole tool, how that works, but you'll have this and you can go watch it at your own leisure. So this is where I was saying about the policies and procedures. So I'm asking the question, is this the solution? Seattle Public Schools banned ChatGPT and does not allow cheating and requires original thought from students. Los Angeles Unified School District blocked the site to protect academic honesty. New York City Public Schools banned ChatGPT for cheating. Fairfax County Schools, Alabama, Montgomery County. So this was the original knee-jerk reaction that came out of most of the schools out there. And again, this is a conversation that one needs to have with a lot of teachers out there. If this is the way they feel about it, you need to have that conversation and maybe bring another perspective to it. Yeah, I've just given an example of, say, an AI policy that a school can go and write and and have available in their school. So so be aware of the limits of ChatGPT. Don't trust anything it says. AI is a tool. So so there can be education in the school about AI and the responsible use thereof. So again, one could provide all of these sort of templates to the schools that can help them create these policy documents. I think this is a good way to think about plagiarism and cheating. It's not black or white. There's sort of gray areas in between AI generated and human generated. An AI generated student simply plugged it into AI, copied a response and submitted it to the teacher. And then there's gray areas where a student wrote all of the assignment content without consulting AI at all. And then sort of halfway through, student created multiple AI responses, used the best parts, edited, submitted. So which of these would you consider cheating? Which of these do you already use? And which of these is relevant to the student's future? So I always think about it in that context, that if we are preparing students to be part of the workforce one day and going to have a job, they're probably going to have AI tools in their organization, or their colleagues are going to be using AI tools. And if you are depriving them of understanding these tools and working with these tools, you are going to sort of do them a disservice, because they're going to have to catch up in the real world. Here's something that one could do interactively with your audience. If you want to get a sense check, let's say you've got 10 teachers in the room and you want to just go through, see where they are sitting, is to say which kind of AI assistants are okay, which are not. AI can do several different tasks associated with producing a written assignment. So is it okay to ask the AI to do a research literature review? And you say, okay, that's you get consensus in the room, or you just get people to vote, or whatever way you prefer. To brainstorm an idea, well, it depends, not always, or suggest an outline, cheating, so this is sort of a way that I think if you want to sense where your audience is in terms of this, do you need to go into the whole discussion, or can you glance over it and they've already moved on and they very progressive like Jack is? So those are things I think that you can go do. Then what I think it's this one. Yeah. So those were all teachers' assistants and teachers' tools. But I think there's if we are going to say that teaching has got to be student focused, these are tools that students can use on their own to teach themselves, just on their phones. So they can pick a different topic, and they can literally on their phones ask for help. So this is an idea to develop an idea of what is acceptable and why do you want to use a chatbot. So I think it's, if you're saying that the student is allowed to help me get started on assignment, yes, that's fine. Help me improve on what have already been done, yes, that's okay. Explain and then an idea, simpler terms, that's fine. But the next step should be to ask the teacher and check my handbook to ensure that it's acceptable. So it's kind of a thought process that one could go through in terms of learning about the AI. These are two more tutoring tools, but I see that we sort of running out of time. I just quickly want to show you these are the general tools that are out there. So there's things here like Google Workspace, a Microsoft Copilot, where I've got videos and short demonstrations what each one of them do. This is from my bookmarks. I'd say these are sort of the main tools at the moment. Can't say next week it's going to be the main tools, but these are ones like, for instance, Runway that creates videos. InVideo is a fantastic, easy to use video creator from literally from text to video. You write a prompt, it'll create the whole video for you with voice, music, stock footage, everything included. It's very powerful. 11 Labs is the best text-to-speech generator. Gamma creates slides, PowerPoint slides. Otter creates transcriptions and voice notes. Grammarly, we all know probably in terms of, but it's getting more and more AI functionality into it. Zapier is an automation tool. Canva, I spent the other day, a whole day teaching an organization, a rather large corporate in South Africa, teaching them Canva for a day, and they were super excited and created videos and created all sorts of fancy designs at the end of the day, and were very excited about it. ChatGPT, of course, for Google Sheets and Docs. Inside your spreadsheet, inside of your Excel, you can actually have ChatGPT generate answers for you. Midjourney, obviously the biggest in terms of image generation. Ideogram, I love. It's an image generator, which is very good with text. A lot of these text generators can't spell to save their lives. So Ideogram is actually quite good with text. And then the cheap and free ones, Bing Image Creators, free, anybody can use it, and it's really not that bad. And connected with Bing Image Generator is Microsoft Designer, so where you can literally go from the image that Bing has created into Microsoft Designer and take out the background and change the colors and do things like that. Descript will help you create a quick and easy podcast if you're doing a talking heads video. So for instance, if I take this recording and I run it through Descript, it'll take out all the ums and ahs, all the dead spaces, and I can literally edit a video based on the text as opposed to looking through pictures and that type of stuff. Clipchamp, free and easy to use tool for video editing. So I've got a whole presentation here where I show some examples of each one of those and how you can use these different tools. But and just in terms of saving you time. By the way, for those of you who wondered, these are the buttons that I clicked in the beginning. If you got the paid version of Zoom, you clicked on Summary, and I clicked on AI Companion, and it switches that stuff on. So, any questions or anything that you want me to go into specifically? Ask now.
Let's go back to the screen to see everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good idea.
And I'm sure we need to absorb a lot of this and figure out, I think, the big question, I think Sarah and Asim and Rebecca too are going to be working on is we got to get started. And where's the starting points and what are the what's the roadmap and what are the things I've forgotten about or I don't know about that we need to do. Joe is new here and Joe just showed up. I've known him for a couple of years now, so he's interested in working on this too. So we have to figure out roles. Jack and Sam and Serby all have roles we want to figure out as well. Some are consultants, some are going to be out there doing that, we hope, and we want to figure it out. We're on the roadmap to getting there. And if anybody has a particular question or point of view or that, I'd like to hear what Sarah or Ison think about what we have so far.
Excuse me, you didn't hear this before. I have a horrible head cold right now, so I'm keeping as quiet as possible.
Okay.
I think this is this was a great foundational setting discussion, and now us back end people can go off and figure out what we're doing. So yeah, very helpful having this session, and I feel very comfortable pulling folks together now and having a more detailed discussion. Great.
I'm glad that worked. Ison, you have tools. You want to start using this for your teaching, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually overwhelming a little bit, to be frank, with all these.
Yeah.
You know, like, how do you go about and figuring out what you need to use? Like for the academic environments, some of the tools that you have shown, I think they're more geared towards elementary and secondary schools, but you know, like weeding out what is useful, what is not. And not only that, like I am a one-stop shopper type of a mentality. Like I wouldn't like to, as an educator, I wouldn't like to go do one thing with one tool, do another thing, another tool, and then when you put them together, they don't look like, you know, they don't look the same, or they have a different formatting and all that. Personally, it is like a lot to learn. It's almost like you need to have your own training program to understand each of these. But one thing that I am still very critical of using AI in education, it's especially in academic environments I'm referring to, because I do know my students, they use it greatly. And I personally do not want to be in the detector mode. I don't want to be like a lot of tools you have shown, Quentin, is like it tells us how much, if it was pasted, if it was human written, if it was this. And I mean, that's not my role as a professor. You know, I shouldn't have to go through the radars and the radar detectors. You know, that's the mentality here.
Yeah. That's where there are trainers, and we have a few of them among our bigger group who are already using it and are training people how to use it as an ally, as a part of your teaching, so the student not only isn't skipping learning their own thought process and going through their own processes that they need to build their skills and development, but they're using it to advance what they're doing, and that's a tool they're going to need in work. So they're doing both things at the same time. So I think that's the prevalent form that a lot of teachers are looking for right now, is how do I use it to help the students learn to use it and build their own skills at the same time.
I think
Yeah,
they,
in terms of the operations of it, like productionalizing this concept. Now that the first comment I made was more like me being in the user end. Now I am in the company side. I think what might help us is not to bombard all these options to the potential clients, but rather create some packages around them, like certain packages for academic level, certain packages for maybe K through 5 teaching, maybe the other one 6 through 12 teaching. You know, not everything is going to be relevant at all level, I guess, and maybe
Well, I think
that might help. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think it'll be even more specialized than that. We have an assessment form that I built with ChatGPT's help that will get the teacher or the administrator or school person to fill out and really reflect on what they really need, what do they really want, and what pressure points or friction or additional capacities they're looking for. And before we do their presentation, we do the research to find out exactly what they want, and it'll never be everything Quentin's showing. I mean, that's for us, but it'll be targeted exactly what they need, and that's our special sauce is. We're going to give you what you need, and we're going to study it carefully to know ahead of time, and then follow it up. Because not only that, but nobody's going to have 5 packages of different AIs they use in the classroom because this costs too much. No school's going to say we're paying for 5 packages. They're not going to do it. They'll say, what's the 1 or 2? It's one-stop shop that we see. And that's why Magic School, I think, is the one that's prevailing right now, is it has 5, 10 different capabilities, and there's only one fee.
correct.
And people are liking that. Jack, have you seen it being used?
Yeah, that's probably the predominant one that I'm seeing in any of the schools that are taking it up right now is the Magic School.
That's good. Yeah, that's good feedback, because you see it on a day-to-day basis. But just also back to Asim, your question, the slide that Sarah?
Yeah, I
Yes,
did have
Sarah,
a
go,
question for Jeff.
Okay.
Jeff, you said you saw this as being very customized and targeted. I suspect after we do this for a while, we will come up with templated structures for some specific demographic. I don't know what it looks like now, et cetera, but I suspect our learning will get us to an easier way to implement.
Yeah, for science departments, for nursing departments, college departments, certain levels of vocational, technical, or high school too. I agree. But that takes a while. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Then it'll change.
This slide that I showed earlier, I think this is the conversation that's going to flesh all of this out. So this tools exploration and showing the AI capability is just going to, like you said earlier, Sarah, it creates this foundation which people can then draw out of that. Okay, what are the specific needs assessments, the use cases, and all those sort of things, and then you can start evaluating, selecting the tools and those sort of things. But this might be different for, like Asim said, for different levels of schools and different types of schools. So it could be an iterative process.
If that's the case, I'll be nitpicky, but if you go back to that screen again, I wonder if the tools selection that box needs to come after goal setting.
It's actually, I've moved it up and down a couple of times. So will you be able to set goals if you don't understand AI capability? If you don't know what AI can do, can you set goals for the AI to do? This is why I keep swapping those around. I'm open to persuasion.
And I think, especially within a school setting, it's understanding those capabilities is really going to direct what goals you're setting for what level you're at, higher ed, K through 12.
Yeah.
I think understanding those capabilities is a real big key to being
Yeah.
able to do that effectively.
So I'd like to ask you, Jack, from what you've seen today, what would you do with this information now? If you were a teacher tomorrow?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I'm thinking right now. My first step is I understand as a school leader, and a former teacher, kind of all of the pieces that I see and how I could apply it. But I think there's two pieces of this. Is one, what is that individual application going to look like, but also systemically what the schools want and need. So I've already been creating some notes here of creating some social media posts and links and surveys, reaching out to at a bunch of different levels, trying to understand kind of where their current understanding is of what the capabilities are. One, and then the second piece is, in the idyllic world of what they want to create, what they would like to see to help them be more effective. Really coming back to really what Asim's said, those two pieces right there, understanding what it can do and what the goals they're going to want. Because everything you showed are all pieces that they're using individually. A teacher's using this to create a slide deck. A teacher's using this to create their notes, to create a quiz, to grade this writing. But understanding how to systemically put it together for each of them is, I think, it's one of the reasons why Magic School is doing so well, because they've created that one big system. I think our big piece in that is not everybody's going to go Magic School AA, because while it's great and it's one big system, it's not cheap. And there's so many different pieces that we could bring together and direct of, hey, we're going to help you do this in a way that you're not going to have. Yes, Jeff mentioned in the comments earlier about, hey, helping them understand how to fund this. That is a key for this. But I think there's so many pieces we could bring together to systematize it. Hey, this school is looking for it and understanding how to streamline their teacher planning. Creating, a system for this school over here who's wanting to improve their instructional design for their teachers. But I think it's going to start us understanding what the school levels are wanting at each point. I have a pretty big connection in the K-12 side, so that's where I'm initially like, I know superintendents, principals, teacher leaders that I immediately want to reach out to. Where are you at? What are your thoughts on this? What are you seeing that you need at your level? That's kind of the first step I see in starting those conversations.
Yeah. And I think that's how we could collaborate is you go and have those conversations and then maybe bring it back and we build this thing together with you.
Yeah. Right. Because then once it's systematized like that, and we kind of have, like Robin was mentioning, and like Jeff said, it will take us some time, and some of it's going to be us going out and doing some presentation of, hey, here's what we've got, and coming back and saying, oh, you know what, that piece didn't work. We need to think about it better. Then even though, hey, where somebody else is at in the country, they may not be the K-12 person as far as their background and knowledge. If we've created that and it's worked somewhere else in the K-12, they're able to help implement that wherever they're at that way.
Yeah, I agree. Good.
You put back the pictures. I like to see people's reactions.
Oh, oh gosh. I never know. My screen is double screen, so I can see people all the time.
I want to hear at least a hello from Sam or Serby. Let me hear just a little bit about how you've reacted to what we've seen. Go ahead. Hi, Sam.
Hi. It was a lot to take in. Well, I agree with everybody, and I think that the first step would be the needs analysis of our target audience. For example, my specific area is ESL education, and that would be different from K-12. So we just first need to analyze the specific needs of our target audience, and then based on that, play with those tools and narrow them down to the ones that would actually fit the needs of our audience. Yeah, it was very informative and a lot. But that's, I think, our first role, to get to know all of the apps and their capabilities, and then you know, find the best match with the audience.
Yeah, that's a good point. ESL is a huge field, almost everywhere in the United States and everywhere, lots of places overseas too. So we can start to think of a system package that really fits for that. Quentin, you may have some specifics already that we think would work best for that, or Sam, you may have some
Correct.
too. So that's certainly an area we should do. And once we have that, we could find more associates who are ready to use that, because there's a lot of people in that field and they would love to be involved with AI as well. Surabhi, what do you think of your potential with this? What do you think?
First of all, I'm so grateful to both of you for this comprehensive presentation. It was actually eye-opening. And as I've already sent you a message about my potential clients, I've already targeted some of the clients in India. So they are particularly in higher education setting. And the tools that Jacob has mentioned about undetectable AI and consensus and the GPT Explorer, I'm excited about that, because they've been, I won the higher education in India to use those tools, because I have done my PhD and I've collected data from almost like 12 higher education institutions who are working in quite an education technology setting. So how they can use and how they can teach, particularly the research students, how to use SciSummary, how to use consensus, and how they can use that in their research work. And also like plagiarism, as you have mentioned, how the institutions can take these tools and can teach the educators and how to use these detectors as well. This is exciting for me, and my family is particularly in academic settings. My in-laws, and they are working in school. So how they can use all the tools and promote it for better learning outcomes of the student. Yeah, thank you so much for the comprehensive presentation, and yeah, love it. And I'm so excited to be a part of this organization.
Great,
That's
thank
great.
you.
It's wonderful to hear. Joe, you're up in Cleveland. Are you connected to the school districts or higher ed and a bunch of educators up there? I don't remember.
My wife's a professor at University of Akron, and I spent way too much time in school, probably, but the one question that I came up towards the end that I was having that I don't really think we talked about was the governance of everything. And part of it came from a week ago, I met with an old friend of mine who now works, I can't say the company, but it's a large Cleveland company. And I said, well, what do you do now? He goes, oh, I'm in AI governance. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, I have to make sure that all the tools we have are, protecting both sides, protecting the company, protecting the users, protecting privacy and all of that stuff. And one of the things I was thinking about was when I was more involved with my kids' schools, was I know they'd tell me how long the process was, and Jack can comment on this, I'm sure, how long it took to get new applications into a school, because especially probably the larger the school district, the harder it is, because you got to jump through more hoops. And then maybe by the time you're finished jumping through all the hoops, there's a new version out, and now you have to resubmit or something. I'm worried about that it's like, if it's, are these tools going to, are we going to be able to get them into the classrooms if the procedure to get it allowed is, multi-step and goes up the ranks from teacher to principal to superintendent to whatever.
Well, luckily that's Luckily, that's not our business, right? We're not the ones who own the apps. So we could put
That's
ourselves in as the middleman there. I love being the middleman. We could put ourselves in the middleman there of being the people who bring the decision makers into the room and say, we know you're all confused and don't know what to do next. We have a process to help you make those decisions about privacy, about what was the other thing? Privacy, ethics, and policy. And the fourth one, which I never hear any of these people mention, is costs. We want to help you rein in and control the costs. So if we can develop that process that can help them go through that, then we say, okay, this is your process. You got it. Good luck. Goodbye. I mean, we're not there to. We don't have to we hold their hand
Yeah.
through that, but we can hold their hand that beginning part of trying to figure out, okay, what are the things we meet? Because there's plenty of companies that want to help them do the policy. I mean, companies that are already doing that, and but we could do it too, be more specialized, and also include costs. I think we have something there.
Yeah, I think
And
that.
I can,
Go ahead, Jack.
well, I can tell you that that is a major concern at the school level. It's always a big key on what tools and resources and technology you bring in is that student privacy side of it. Two pieces of that. One being a lot of these companies I'm noticing they're understanding that and they're starting to build in some of their own internal pieces to try to protect that or to make options available that better control the student privacy, making it more feasible that schools will accept it, which then comes in on what Jeff was just saying. If we're very good at making sure that we have a system on how to identify who are those people who have done that to help those schools make that decision easier. Hey, we're bringing you, here's some options of what you can do for this. However, what we can tell you is these ones we're bringing you, they've been vetted. They already have these policies in place for your student systems, protections for identification and things like that. I think that's where we could kind of bring that in and support that. But a lot of them are building that out already, I'm noticing.
I think again with my implementation circle, then the next bubble after the needs assessment and everything is evaluation and selection. So that could be a whole process that we develop there is the evaluation that has cost, governance, privacy, all of that stuff is part of the evaluation process. So each bubble almost becomes another circle. So it's a mind map. But it's interesting. So Joe and Jack, the stuff that you mentioned, what's happening at a lot of businesses, and I'm sure it's at schools as well. I saw some research the other day. They said 75% of people in knowledge based companies have started using AI tools, or the workers, but 75% of those bring their own tools to work. In other words, they don't use the company sanctioned tool. They sign up for ChatGPT on their own and they use it on the side, or they use it on their phones or something like that. So they literally have an acronym, BNYAI, bring your own AI.
Thanks, Jack. Jack has to go. Thanks for coming, Jack. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Well, for next steps right now, I hope that Sarah and Aysim will figure it out. No, I hope that Sarah and Aysim will talk to each other and Rebecca, and will give us some ideas about what happens, what we're doing next, and you guys can ask questions of us and figure it out. I'm going to see Joe soon. We're going to talk too, and certainly if you have feedback or things you want to work on right away, we can create some things, some tasks on Notion. I just talked to Jack. I just sent Jack a message. He has some things he wants to create. I said, put it on Notion as a project and we can all work on it. And we have to start getting organized that way, and maybe we'll figure out all this mess.
By the way, a lot of these presentations and slides is on a Google Drive. So happy to share it with you if you guys want it.
Yep.
So I'm sure you want these slides as well?
All right. Go ahead, Aysim.
I don't know if I have access to Google Drive. Is it through the
Do Do you have Google, Gmail?
I have.
He can
I
add you
have
today.
it, yes.
He can add you.
Then you have Google Drive.
Okay, thanks.
So thanks everybody. Thanks Quentin. Great presentation, comprehensive. And thanks everybody for being here. And I'm really grateful for everybody who's interested in this. This is really it's turning out even better than I expected so far.
Yeah.
So with people, with you guys, I mean, we've got success around the corner. We just got to make it happen. You know, I'm sure you all see it the same way, that we're on the right path. It's just going to take some cleverness and some more hard work, and collaborations where it's at, right? I mean, nobody could figure this out on their own.
Yeah.
Certainly, not even two of us, I don't think. But this group has it. So let's keep it going. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Quentin,
Have a good
for
day.
everything.
Thanks, Quentin. This is a lot of information. It's a lot of work to put it together. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.